Welcome back, Stasa23 here, back again with some knife therapy. And before I get started, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down will work as well. And if you're into knife content and you're not already, think about hitting that subscribe button. Today I have for you the Spyderco Spyopera. The Spyopera comes in at $175 and comes in this brown, they say canvas micarta, but it looks more like a linen micarta. It doesn't really matter. It looks good regardless. This is a design by a custom knife maker named Max. That's all they have, from Italy. And the original design was designed for Lion Steel knives. And Lion Steel and Spyderco decided to do a collaboration. And in that collaboration, Lion Steel produced it. And Spyderco added their Spidey hole and the wire pocket clip on the back. The specs on this bad boy are total length of 6.9 inches, a blade length of 2.88 inches, a grip area from here to around here of about 3.5 inches, a slender thickness from here to here, 0.48 inches. A closed width at the tallest part from here to here is 1.5 inches, so a little wide in the pocket. You got a blade stock thickness of 0.11, and you have a behind the edge thickness on my particular one at around 20 thousandths behind the edge. So let's take a close look at this. I got a good bit of use on this. Did my normal testing that I do on pretty much every knife that I review. And I enjoyed this almost full flat ground blade. It slices pretty well. You have a satin finish on the blade. Very nicely done. You have a crown spine. Absolutely love it. I think a crown spine makes the knife look so classy. You got a nice point for piercing. You're definitely not going to do any prying with that. You probably would snap it off. You got the Spyderco logo on this side. You got Spyderco written right there. And the blade steel designation, Bowler M390 Super Steel. Stainless super steel, line steel on this side, and where it was made in Montiago, Italy. One thing that they do in Italy very well is attention to detail as far as fit and finish, and embellishing on things, like the Lamborghini. The Spidey hole has a small little chamfer around there, so it's not sharp. It's comfortable to use. Close it up. You have the micarta that is contoured, as you can see, and it's been polished. Mine's been carried a good bit, so you can kind of see in certain lights, you can see that it's got like fading spots. And it's not a big deal. If it matters to you that much, you could just put it on a buffer again and get that polish right back. Because they're not putting like a clear coat on this or anything. That's just when you polish it, the actual resin is being polished. So it's like a clear coat basically coming through. You have decorative hardware. That's always a nice little touch, but it is T6. The knife has a very smooth action riding on bearings, and as you can see, it does drop shut, so you can one hand deploy it and one hand close it. You just got to be careful when you're doing the one hand. You want to keep your finger up here in the front part of that choil, so the bottom of that tang hits your finger and not that tip. If you have your fingers back here, that thing's going to come down and get you. It's got me a few times because I wasn't all the way up in the front, because the back lock, being a back lock, is back here, so it just feels a little bit, I don't know, different right there. Sorry, I'm trying to do this behind the camera without hitting it. You can Spidey flick it, and I don't think I'm not sure if I can, let me see. Maybe if you get it just right, yeah, you can thumb flick it, but mine, it's not the easiest. Um, you have a deep carry, the Spyderco deep carry wire pocket clip that is tip up right hand carry only. Sorry about that, lefties. You do have a lanyard hole for all you lanyard people out there. Doesn't have the best blade to handle ratio, even though it kind of looks like because of the backspacer comes up. But it does look like that blade. I mean, the blade looks way longer than that handle, but I do like the fact that I can get a full 4-finger grip on it. I have a medium-sized hand, and I still got a little bit left over in the back. The the liners are titanium, and as you can see, the liners have been crowned. Gives it a softened effect to the touch, and the stainless steel back spring for the back lock has been crowned as well. Very nice touch. No skeletonization in there, but it doesn't really need it because let's check it out. 2.63 ounces, so way light enough for me, and it even appease those ounce and inch type of people. Easy access to that thumb hole. Did I miss anything? Okay, like I said, I use this a good bit. I carried it a good bit, and overall, I enjoyed using it. Before I get into the rest, and before I get into my nitpicks, let's check out some size comparisons. Here's a Spyderco Delica. So as you can see, the Delica is a little bit longer, except you have about the same exact size grip area. And you got the Ontario Rat Model 2. So both the Rat Model 2 and the Delica are both a little bit longer. And let's see, I got one more. Got the CJRB Raya. Now, these two are pretty darn close. The Raya is just a tad bit shorter, but you have about that same grip area, but the Raya is slimmer, in width. So let's talk about some of my nitpicks. First thing just bugs me because of my OCD tendencies is the edge termination. There's a little smile at the end right here. It would have been nice if they would have pulled that up a little bit further, so when you sharpen it, you don't have a wider section in the back. It's not really hurting anything functionally, but you will start to get a slow recurve into your blade. Second, while we're talking about the blade, like I said, I did a lot of cutting with this, and when I do my little tests, I like to simulate a bunch of stuff that you would probably cut in a month's time, all compacted into a few days. And that's kind of how I gauge, the performance on a blade, because, that's what else are you doing? You're not testing your blade every day. So, and a lot of people don't cut much with their knives anyway. So, it was doing fine. It did some nylon rope, a bunch of cardboard, and I was testing a whole bunch of other blades at the same time. I try to get a lot done at once. And this M390, this is a factory edge, and it may get better as I use it. As I sharpen it, it might have some burnt steel on there, but when I got to the sisal rope part of my testing, it made about 8 or 9 cuts, maybe 10, and then that edge fell off completely. I was able to strop it up to a decent sharpness, not like hair shaving sharp right now, but it's got a workable edge on it. So if that's an issue for you, then I don't know, you may want to pass. If I do a long-term review on this, I will update y'all on that. Second, In normal cutting, like when I was cutting cardboard, I was using a hammer grip. Everything was fine. Ergonomics were comfortable. When I started out cutting rope, I put my finger back here, and I was kind of doing a push cut at first, and then I did a little sawing motion. And whenever I would bear down, anytime I'd bear down on this knife, I kind of would feel a little hot spot in the back part of this clip right there. It sits up rather high, but that's to fit the material. But it was only when I was pushing down really, really hard. And when I was pushing down really, really hard, just where the edges, let's see if I can show you this. The edges on the micarta are 90-degree edges. They're not sharp, but I did feel them only when I was putting a lot of pressure. Now that leads me to the last thing, and this kind of bugs me a good bit, and I will tell you why in a second, but I did a good bit of cutting, like I said, and, you know, putting a lot of downward force whenever you're, you know, doing any hard cuts. I did a little wood shaving with this. Like I said, sisal rope, cardboard, thick cardboard, rubber, a little bit of plastic. And I'm guessing, being that I was putting a lot of pressure down on here, I don't know if I deformed something. Let's see if you can hear it. It's got a good bit of lock stick, especially if I do like a hard opening like that. I don't know if you can hear that. Sometimes it's like pretty darn hard to where I gotta like push down like that. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I have any deformation. It's hard to tell. I guess it's supposed to be slanted a little bit like that. I don't know if it's supposed to be straight across where the lock bar sits in there. I don't know. I don't make back locks. So those are my complaints. Overall, though, I'm enjoying the knife. It goes in and out of the pocket nicely because this polished micarta allows us to go in there, but it does have good retention. It's got good spring tension on that pocket clip. It's a classy looking knife, and even with the not so great edge retention on this M390, I still enjoy the knife. It'll probably get better after I've sharpened it about 3 times, especially if it's a burnt steel type thing. Could just be a low Rockwell. I don't know. I'm no metallurgist. But what I will say is I'm enjoying the knife, and I'm going to keep the knife. I carry it a good bit, especially if I'm going somewhere nice. You know, use it as a so-called gentleman's carry, I guess. And you know, like I said, it all depends on what's a deal breaker to you. You got to make your mind up on that. I'm not telling somebody to buy or not buy. That this is one that you make your decision on that. I can only say that I've been enjoying mine, and for the cutting tasks that I do, it's just fine. I don't really cut sisal rope on my day-to-day task. I cut cardboard a lot, and string, rope, regular rope, a lot of 550 because I tie down everything with 550 paracord. But other than that, I'm not abusing the knife. But that sticky lock, that does bug me because I've used and abused this one. I mean, you can see I've done a lot of crap with this. This is my beater. This is HAP 40. And this lock, absolutely no stick whatsoever. I mean, I've put a lot of pressure down on this knife. No stick. So it definitely can be avoided, and it's not because I'm putting too much pressure. I mean, that's probably what caused it, but it shouldn't. So that bums me out, but that's still not a deal breaker because it's not you know, so bad to where I can't disengage it. It had a little bit of lube on there. That's probably one of the causes too. But like I said, that Spyderco's had lube all over it too, and not an issue whatsoever. So there you go. That's my review of the Spyderco Spyopera. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. And remember, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up so I know you're enjoying the content so I can keep it going in the same direction. If If you don't like it, thumbs down to work as well. I hope everybody's having an absolute wonderful day, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.